Yes. Okay. We had completed till the operators, and now we'll be going for the control structure. And in control structure, our main three focus are if-else concept, for loop concept, and while loop concept. And let me tell you one thing. After this, means this, if you learn this properly, then you have got almost 70% of the Python. Because after this, everything that you will gonna learn is the implementation or applications of these statements. That's it. Other than this, we will go to the procedural and object-oriented language, object-oriented part of this. After this, that are the functions, and object-oriented programming consists of class and object and inheritance. These three concepts will be a little messy for you, but other than this, over here till here, you got 70% of the basics of Python if you have got this three parts. So we'll start with else if. Uh, System is a little slow. Okay. You can see this is the way how we write it down. If, and then this a space with a condition, and then a colon, and after that colon we have this. Now we must have taught, we must have discussed at the starting of the session, or this entire webinar session at the start. We have discussed with the indentation. Now, what is indentation? I will just let you know. Let me come to this part, and let me create a file, j2.py. Yeah, and we'll start with the control structure over here. And there are basically three control structures. First, we'll go with if-else, elif. This is three parts of the if-else concepts. Now let us move over here. Now how to write it? First of all, we'll write if, and then the condition. Right here, we'll write the condition, and then after that, we'll have a colon. I will just comment this so that it is easier for you to understand. There is no, this is if, and then the condition, whatever condition we're gonna write inside this, and then a colon, and after that, we will be having this indentation, the line spacing. And if you don't give this spacing, that means if you're outside this, that means it is outside in the main part. This entire part is the main part, and if you want to go write something inside this, then you need to write an indentation, and this indentation shows it that but whatever you write over here, whatever codes you write over here, it's inside this if condition. Whatever you write over here is inside this if condition. And then if you write again outside it, then it will be again in the main part. So this is how we write if condition in your Python. So now what we're going to do, we're going to first of all write, take a test statement, let it be a equals to 3, and we'll just check if a is greater than 0 or not. So I will just write a greater than 0. Okay, this is my if statement, and this is my condition, and after this condition I will put a colon, and when I put an enter after putting a colon, automatically it will give an indentation. If it doesn't take automatically, if it comes over here, what you need to do, you need to put a tab, just a tab bar, and once you put it, it will come in the indentation, and you need to follow that indentation everywhere. For example, I want to print that uh, uh, a is greater than 0. Okay, I'm printing this. So if you want to execute this, if you see, we will just execute this. We'll write python dot slash the session2 and then day2.py. And you will find that we are getting the output a greater than 0 because it is true. And if it is not true, if you are taking it as a less than 0, then 3 is not less than 0. So it is a false. If it is a false, then it will not get implemented and it will get a blank. Okay, so this is how Python works. If this condition gets true, then only whatever written inside this will get executed, or else it won't get executed and the statement will get closed. This is how if statement works in Python and in any other languages too. So I wanted to say, like, we have multiple print statements. Like, we have again a print. Let me write only a. I'm gonna print the value. Okay, and if I wanna write that the value is or equals to, then a comma. So this is the way I will write it. And you can see I'm maintaining the same indentation over here. Okay. If I don't maintain this indentation, I give up. I write like this. It will throw you an error. The unindent does not match any outer indentation level. This means there are no such level at this indentation. If I make this at this level, then it will work, then it will throw no error, because you need to maintain a proper indentation over here. Okay, I will just show you by executing this. It is giving us the data. But if I only write this like this and I want to execute it, it will not be executed. It will throw you an unindent does not match any outer indentation level. Okay, so it's better you, if you have auto format option, then press a tab and save it. It will format it, and then it is all good to work on. So I hope you understood this concept of indentation over here, how to indent blocks. Whatever you write at this indentation level will be executed, will treat it as all the codes inside this if statement. Now we have checked that if this is true, then this will execute, but we have not seen that what will happen if this is not true. For example, if this is false, then what we're going to do? If let us say we are telling that a less than 0, if this is false, then what we're going to do? We're going to put an else, and there is nothing inside an else. We don't write any conditions inside an else. Rather, we just write the statements. If this is going to be false, then directly it will execute this block. So I will just write print a less than 0. I'm just printing this line. Okay, I'm just printing this line. Yeah, all set. Now I'll just execute this code. You will find that it is a less than 0 over here. That means this condition is false. When this condition is false, then directly it will execute this condition. Now if I make it as a equals to 0, and I make it as 0, okay, uh, let me not make it as 0. If a less than greater than 0, okay, and a less than 0 is over here. If a is not greater than 0, then a, it will print a less than 0. Okay, so I will execute this. So it's giving you a greater than 0, because we have a value equals to 0 over here. It shouldn't have taken this as greater than 0. I don't know why it is taking. It should have given us false. Yeah, this is the correct answer. It has not been saved previously. So it's giving you a less than 0. So you can see over here. So this is why, because a is not greater than 0, so it will directly take this. But we want another thing. We don't want only two conditions. We want more conditions. We want a condition to be included in it, that a equals to 0. So how are we going to include that condition? We have a statement of elif. So now it is similar to else, but it has a permissible to write as the condition into it. We can write the condition that elif a double equals to 0. Then we're gonna print this, that print a in the double quotes a equals to 0. We're gonna print this. So let us execute this, and now let us check what is it printing. It's printing the elif block. You can see it's printing the elif block. So this is how it works. It has three conditions. This elif could be n number of times. This if can be repeated only once. In an if-else elif means a pattern, we could have only one if and one else, but n number of elif. For example, you're going to check that if you're going to copy this and paste this, and you're going to check that if this is equals to less than 3, then what you're going to do, you're going to print this. You're going to print a less than 3. But remember one thing, it could be n number of conditions, but if once any condition is true, then the other conditions over here in the else and elif parts will be neglected. Okay, for example, over here you will find that 0 is less than 3. This condition is also true, and 0 is equals to 0. This condition is also true. But as this condition is first, so it will execute this condition rather means it will not execute this other these all conditions. It will just stop it and break it right over here. Over here, it will just execute this and break it. You can see it. We will only get a equals to 0, which is this condition. Now, if you just eliminate this block and bring it below to this condition, a less than 3, then you will find that this condition is first and it has been satisfied. So other blocks will be neglected and you will get a value a less than 3. And you're getting a value a less than 3. So this is how if else and elif works. Now there is one more method that if you have a very long equation, so we use braces, parentheses. So over here it has the permission to use parentheses. There is no issue like this. You can use the parentheses. You can use it without parentheses, or else you can use it with parentheses. It doesn't make any difference right over here. But if you want to use with parentheses or without parentheses, both are permissible over here in Python. So you can see we are getting the same output. So are you clear with if, else if, and else concept? Just write it in the comment section so that it is easier for me to understand how much you understood. Clear, very good. So shall we do a little project, a minor project on if, else, and elif? Let us find that print even numbers. Okay, let us take an input from the user. I haven't told you how to take an input from the user, I believe. If I haven't, then it is a very good thing. If I have, then it is already a previous thing. Okay, so I will just tell you how to take an input from the user right now. So the question is, take input from the user and print even or odd. So what I need to do, I need to take input from the user and I need to print even or odd. Okay, so I will just take this as we will just write like this. Let the input be in a equals to. This is the way how we take input. This is the way how we take input, and inside that, whatever we write is a statement that we're gonna write that we want to show to the user that what should be printed. Enter a number. Okay, we're gonna print this that it is asking for entering a number, and we'll just print a. Print a. Okay, so let us see what it does over here. I will just comment this part so that it doesn't make any changes, and I will execute this once again. Okay, so I will just write a number like 5 or 52. This is my number and it's giving 52. But if you find, if you print the type of this, like I'm just printing the type of this, I'm just printing the type of this. So you will find, if I write 58, then you will find that type is string. The type of the value that A stores is a string type. So what actually input is doing, input inputs all the values as a string. So first thing that we're gonna do, if we are using a numbers, we're gonna typecast this input. Now you can typecast it something like this: A equals to int of A, means we are typecasting it and again storing it into A. And if you just execute this like 65, then okay, I believe it has not been saved previously. Let us execute it again, and you will find that it's giving the typecast as int. Okay, so this is giving you as a typecast of int, and this is okay. But actually, what in professional world does, we don't take another line on this, because Python, we can have multiple functions inside a function. So what we want to do, we want to first take the input and then we want to convert it to the integer part. So we'll just write like this: the function inside the means the inner function will execute first always. If you have 3 4 functions, then the inner function will always execute first, and then step by step it will move outside to the outer functions. Okay, so over here what it will does, first it will take a number and then it will just convert the number to integer and store it to a. This is what, so let us execute this and again find it out what is the result. And it's asking for a number. I will give 85 and you will find that we are getting plus n. So this is how it goes. And now we'll just use this number to find it our statements, like if a, now we want to check it as an even number. So even number is always divisible by 2. So I can write like this, if a divided by 2, but I cannot check this. So for checking operator, we want to use some operator like modulo. Okay, so we'll use a modulus operator, a mod 2 equals to 0. Now what does this say? If a, when I divide a by 2, if the remainder is equals to 0, then that means it's an even number, and I will just write as print the number is even. Okay, similarly, if it's not an even number, then directly it has no other conditions, or rather it is an odd number. So I will just write the number is odd. Okay, I've written this directly, the number is odd, and you will find that when we execute this code again, now we write 65, then it is giving the number is odd. And if you execute this code again, like 88, the number is even. So we are getting our data exactly the same. Now, okay, I will just explain you once again, Sudha. Uh, did you understood now what does if-else means, or else I need to explain you once again? Just let me know in the comment section, Sudha. Okay, you understood. Okay, right. So this is how we're gonna have like this, if else. Now, if you don't want to use this else, then what you can do, you can use the elif statement right over here. You can write the elif, and then the condition will be that you can write in single. You can use the parentheses or you may not. It's upon your choice. A mod 2, a mod 2 is not equals to 0. If this is not equals to 0, that means it's an odd, and if it's equals to 0, that means it's an even. So both the cases are correct. Whichever you choose, you can write it like this is an even, and if you again execute it and write 65, this is an odd. So there are both the methods. I will just copy this and I will just control Z it so that it's easy for you to understand, and I will just keep it right over here. And I will comment. Yeah, this is done, that both the methods are correct. Either you can use elif or else you can use else, and both the things are correct. Now you can have this for multiple inputs. For example, if you want multiple inputs, there are two methods to take multiple inputs. uh, Multiple inputs. The first method I will discuss now, and the second method I will discuss after I go for the for loop, because that is easy. That will be easier when I go for the for loop. It is that a equals to input enter name. Okay, that is like enter first name, and b equals to input enter second name. So we have done we have given a and b, and you can print it, print a comma b. Let me comment this part so that we get a good output of this. So let me put on this execute this for it's asking for me the first name, so I will just write freedom and it's asking for the second name. I will just write Kunju, and you will find that we are getting the first name, comma, second name. So this is how you have. Now, I told you there are many methods to print the your mm, print statement. One is with commas. One you can merge with multiple commas. You can go on merging with multiple commas. And another is concatenation. Just note this method. I will just go on with the tricks in between somewhere because these tricks are just a trick and not a very big topic, so we cannot take it as a topic. So concatenation of string. Concatenation is only possible when the variables are string. So how you can do this, like print, and or else you can do with a variable, you can store the concatenation of variable also. Like we have a and then b. So how you can do a, and we concatenate the strings by a plus. So we want that the first name should be there, then a space should be there. So for space we will have a double quotes and a space, then again a plus, and then we'll have the b. So this is how we go for string concatenation in Python. A plus, in double quotes there is a space for this space, and then the second name. So if you just print this, you will find, if I'm writing my name, you'll find that yes, we are getting the same output over here and over here. Okay, so this is how you can do this. Now if you just change it to number, for example, c equals to input, enter your age, and you're converting it to a number int type. This is how we are converting it into an int type. And then if you print it directly over here, you can do like this, as in this method, age, and then a space, then equals to, then a space, and then a comma is equals to c. Okay, or else you can use the concatenating method, and you can go like this, that a plus, and then in double quotes we're gonna write uh, age equals to, and then there will be a space before also, because or otherwise what will happen, this b, last character of the b, that is u, will be just mixing with a. Okay, you need to understand as a string, you need to just understand it as a whole string, and then not a comma, I will just use the concatenation plus, and then I will need to concatenate c. But if I do concatenation of c directly, what will happen, it will throw you an error. So I will just write Pritam, and I will just write Kundu, and it's asking me the age. So it will give you an error. You can see, can concatenate str to not into str. This means that C is an integer type and it cannot concatenate, but we are getting the output over here. You will find the output here, right over here. See, we are getting this output in this method, but we are not getting the output in this method. This is because concatenation is only possible with a string variables or strings only. So what you can do over here, you can convert this value over here to str, that is we call as typecasting, and then you can save it, and then again you can execute it, and this time this will not go fail, and you will get the number. You are getting both the values, this value as well as this value. Both the values you are getting it absolutely correct. Okay, so this is how concatenation of string works on. Okay, so now we will just go to another section, that is we have covered with if, else, and elif. Now we'll go to the for loop. Now for loop over here doesn't have only one syntax like C, C++. It has many syntaxes and many functions to be used inside a for loop. So we'll go with the second part, that is for loop. And over here you will find, okay, let us see what else we have over here in the over here. Here the program evaluates the test expression and will execute the statement only if test expression is true. I hope you understood this already. If the text expression is false, the statement is not executed. Okay, this I hope you understood. Now there are also some examples over here. I don't know what are the examples, so let us see once. So greater than 0 and greater than 0. So if it is true and false, it will give you answers accordingly. And this is an example of if, elif, and else statement. We have already done this. And now we'll come to the for loop. Okay. Now over here in normal C++, what we used to do, we used to do like this something for I equals to 0. First of all, initialization. Then we have the condition less than 10 maybe. And then we have the incrementation. Okay. Initialization, condition, and implementation. These are the three steps that we used to follow. But over here, we don't use those steps over here. For example, we're going to print 1 to 5. Okay. So what we're going to use for this, you're going to write like this for, and then we're going to write I. Okay. For I in range is the function, and the range is that we go on to 5, and the range goes for n minus 1, so we'll write 6. So what will it do? And then a colon, and then inside it goes inside the for loop. We're going to write print I. Now this is a little complicated if you're new to this language. Actually, let me, okay, I will just terminate this because I have not commented. This is still asking me the output of this. I'll just comment this part, and now I will execute this. Okay. Yeah, you are getting from 0, you are getting the input from 0 to 5. Okay. Now if you want to range from 1 to 5, let me do it from 0 to 5 first. From 0 to 5. And now if you want the range from 1 to 5, then this range function has another keyword into it, like for I in range. Now the range takes two values over here, the initial value, the starting value, and the ending value. Plus 1 means if you want till 5, that means you're going to give you 6 so that it will execute till 6 minus 1, that is 5. Okay. Then a colon, and after that inside the block, whatever you want to do. I want to print I. Okay. I want to print I, and I will save this statement right over here, and I will execute this. Let me comment this, save this, and execute this. So you're getting from 1 to 5. Okay, you're getting the range from 1 to 5. This is correct. Now what is over here, what is being doing? Python doesn't require pre-initialization of the values. Okay, so this I doesn't require any pre-initialization. Okay, now what is this in doing? It's just telling Python that whatever value is there inside this function, given by this function, all the values one by one will be taken by I, and I has that existence of that value. Okay, so this is how it does. So incrementation by default is one by one. Now over here we'll find in the range function we gave the values from 1 to 6, means how many times we want it to be executed. All the things are given to over here, and directly we can use that I value right over here as a print statement. Now if you want to give some certain number of times, that it should give 1, then after 2 plus 2, that means next value should be 3, then plus 2, next value should be 5. If you want in this manner, then what you can do, comma 2. This is what it does. It will just give you incrementation every time twice. Means if your first value is 1, then next value will be plus 2, that is 3. Then next value will be plus 2, that is 5. Okay. So now let us just execute this. Let me just copy this path and put a redo and just execute it over here. 1 to 5 with 2 incrementation. I believe there is a spelling mistake. No, it's correct. I don't know why it is telling. Okay. Now you will find that over here we have got 2, and we'll just comment this part and we'll just print this. We'll print this again, and you are getting that 1, 3, 5 are the values over here. 1, 3, 5 are the values by 1, 2 to incrementation every time. So this is what range function does. Now you might be thinking that it has been almost the same, but yes, it is almost the same for the previous for loop that we used in other languages, where the syntax is syntax has been changed. But over here in the for loop, we have some special things also, like using for loop with list. If you want, there are two methods to use for loop with list. For example, you have using loop with list. So the same thing will goes for the dictionary and other languages also, but first of all, we'll go for the list. Okay, for I, okay, not for, directly we'll not jump to it. We'll create a list first. Let the list be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or else we can have the multiple type of numbers like this, 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 and this. Okay, so this is how we have done it. Now we'll just take a for loop for I in range. If you want to go for the range method, then range, and we have the range from zero. So we won't write it from zero. We'll just write the final position, and the final position is len of L to find the length. And len of L is always counting from one. So it is if it's counting from one, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. But if you're going for zero, it's always less than one. So if you write len of L, so that is obviously the correct one. So it will go for the last position. And for printing, we're going to print something like this, L and indexing of I. We're going to print something like this to print each and every value. And if you want to see this, you will be getting 4, 5, 3, 4, 5, 6 to 54, 21, 53. This is method 1 using range. This is method 1. This is one way. And if we go for the new method, the Python method that makes everyone attracted to, and that is what we have over here. For I in list name is L, and directly if you print I, then what you will find the values right over here. We will just execute this. You will be seeing that we are getting the values. Now how it does work. What it is doing, we are just using this in method over here. We are just using this in L. That means whatever values we have in this list L, one by one, these will grab and stored in I, and we are printing I directly. Over here, this I was using as an index values, but over here, this I contains the original values. So this is what it had made things much easier. And if you wanted to do any of the methods, both the methods are correct. But for short purpose, you can use this method, and it will be very fast for your writing programs. So this is how it works for loop. Now I was telling you that we could do something over here, and yeah, I remember. Actually, I have a very short memory power. So over here, we will just do something like this. We're gonna have a function like split function. We're gonna learn about the split function. Now you must have seen many of the programs. People are telling that you need to write us. You need to take input in a single line, like 12, 13, 54. These numbers you need to take input in a single line, and then you need to operate on these numbers. Okay. So taking input in a single line becomes very difficult in other languages, because you will take input and then separating those is very difficult task in other languages like C, C++, Java, all the things. First of all, you need to act as a string. Then you need to convert each and every string. You need to use the characters. Whenever you get a space, you need to separate the word. You need to convert that word into the integer type, and then you need to store it some array. So this is a very long procedure. I'm just repeating this procedure. In other languages, what we do, we need to take this as a string, take this entire input as a string. Then we need to put a for loop, ask for word spaces. Then when we get a space, we need to separate the word After we separate the word, we'll convert that word into an integer type and it will be storing it in an array. So these many tasks were there if you were using any other languages. But over here in Python, if you want to take an input, like we are taking an input in A is equals to input, enter multiple numbers, and you need to specify how you want to enter using spaces. Specifying it using spaces, so that is very print. So I will just want to show you that how it is going to be taking it as print A, and I will just print the type of A. And now you will find it when we are just executing this, you will find, okay, I have not commented this part, so I will just comment this. Yes, this is good now. Let's terminate this. And I will cut. So it's asking me enter multiple numbers using spaces. So I will just enter the numbers like 12, 58, 96, 78. Okay. And then I will press enter and it is taking it as a string. You can see the numbers are in the same line and it's taking it as a string. Now over here we have a very good facility of changing the string and splitting it easily using the dot split method. Dot split. Now what it does, if you don't give anything, it will split using spaces. If you want to give something, then you need to give in the double quotes, and I'm giving it again a space because I'm splitting it against space. If you split through comma, you need to pass comma over here. It will split all the values using comma. I will just show you how to do this. Okay. Now if I print A, then what it does, it will convert it to the list type. Okay. Sorry. I will just execute it again. 12 space 58 space 96 space 74 space 85. And what it does, it will convert the entire values one by one in a list type, and you can see the values are still string. Now if you want to do directly to convert it to an integer, map is another function, mapping, that we won't go in this part because it comes when we go for highly professional values. But over here we want to know how things are going step by step. So for doing this, again we can use for loop for converting it to integer type. So I will just tell you how to do this. So you got to know now you can easily separate easily index the values to get the numbers. Like I want a of 0, so I will get 12 over here. So if I write like this, oh sorry 12, 52, 58, 94, and 75. So you will find if I'm writing a of 0, I will get 12 right over here. So this is how we are getting the values. I will just not mess with this. And now if I want to convert it every value to the integer type, now what do you do? For I in A, okay, this is a normal list values that we're going to do. We have taken each and every numbers, and now we can append it to other lists also, or you can append it to the same list also. So it's upon you. So I will just take another list. I have taken another list, and now I will just b dot append. You remember the append function, I hope, and this is A. So b dot append A, that means, and now not A, I will just convert it to the end of A. Now not A, it's I. The values, individual values are coming to I, and we are just converting it to the integer type, and then we are using it. Now we will just execute this, and we'll just write 12, 50, 25, 50, 85, 96, 36, 34, and we'll just take it, and we'll find we are printing this, but we are not printing B. We'll again print B over here, new list, and now we'll just execute this once again for 7, 96, 36, 34. Now you can see over here it was first in a character format, but when we converted it, then the B is totally integer type. If you want to print the type of B, then you can print it type, and it will be list type. Sorry, it's my mistake. I told you to print the type of B. It's not. If you want to print the type of element of B, then you will find the elements are of integer type. Okay, so this is how this entire for loop works. I hope you got it very interesting, because for loop actually is very interesting. And over here you will find the questions that you were asked in the task one. You will find these very simpler with these all things right over here. Now I hope you understood this for loop, so that we can go for the while loop explanation. Let me see if we missed something. We got the range function. We studied it. If we write 5, then it will print till 4, and it starts from 0. So now let us check. If you are giving two values, it is a initial value and then the final value, and then it will from initial to n minus 1, it will print it. So this is also done. Now we have 3, that means the step size. What is the step size? Incrementation size of it, the each value, and it will print accordingly. Okay. Now over here we have the loops. For example, we are writing x in fruits. That means each and every values of fruits will stored in x, and we are going to print each and every value of x. So this is one type. And now the range part. How to use it through range. This is also we have covered. Line of fruits, that means it will go till the end, and you need to go for the indexing method, because I has the index values over here in the range functions. Range will always give you the numbers. Now we will have the while loop. Now while loop is something same as a for loop. It's not a very big difference in the while loop, but only you understand something like this. When we require something to be put infinitely true, then at that time we use while loop rather than for loop, because while loop has a better stability of infinity than for loop. Okay, so we'll have the third part, and that is while loop. So over here, what we're gonna do, we can take a value like c equals to 0 for a counterpart, and we're gonna check. We're gonna print. For example, we're gonna print from 1 to 5. If you wanna print it, then while, this is syntax, while, then a space or in a parentheses. It's upon you how you write it. Both the methods are allowed. I'm gonna check that c is equals to less than equals to 5. Means either the value of c is less or equals to 5. I'll just terminate this and write it over here. I'm gonna print c, and after printing c, I'm gonna increment c. Now over here we don't have c++. We can write equals to c plus equals to 1. This is correct. This means the same as, sorry, this means the same as c equals to c plus 1. This denotes the same thing as we denoted over here, c equals to c plus 1. This is the same thing. Now we are having the indentation. You can follow this. We are having the indentation, and after this we are printing this, and when the counter will be greater than 5, it will come out of the loop and end it. So you can see if we are doing this, then it is printing from 0 to 5. Now if you want to print from 1 to 5, then what you're going to do, you can initialize the value from 1, and it will print from 1 to 5. Now if you want the loop to be infinite, for example, we want something like this. We want the loop to be infinite. Okay, so we can say that if c equals to y until c is till c is y, then it will just go on inside the loop, and if c is not y, then it will just end the loop. So we'll just take input c equals to input. We're just taking an input in c and enter y to continue, and or x to quit. Okay, now over here we'll find if you're writing c again and again, it is again will ask this question to you. So we'll just execute this code, and it's telling that enter y to continue or x to quit. If you write y and press enter, it will again and again ask this to infinite times. So this is what infinite loop is. Until and unless you want it to stop, that it will not stop until and unless you want it to stop. Now if I write x or any other values, because we are only checking y, if you write x or any other values, it will just stop it and will be coming to the end. So this is what while loop is all about. So are you clear with these three fundamental things if, else, elif, while loop, and for loop. Just let me know in the comment section if you're clear with this, because these are the basics and the base of any program or project, whatever you want to do. Yes, very good. Very good, guys. So we are clear to this as we got a lot of today, lot of concepts today. So we won't continue further as we have done the end of this, and tomorrow we'll jump to functions in the next session. So guys, for today we'll end this session over here. If you have any queries regarding today's session, you can put on the comment section. And after this session, shortly uh, within 1 hour, you will find your previous YouTube link, and this link you will getting by tonight. By tonight, you will finding this link in the YouTube. Okay, guys. So thank you for today. If you have you have 1 minute, 1 more minute to put on your queries. If you have a query, then put on the comment section, or else we'll end this session. If multiple arithmetic operator given, then how to write program? Okay, multiple arithmetic operator given. That means I don't understood your question. Where is it given? Just let me know your question. Question. So the or else if you want to unmute your mic, you can unmute it and explain me the question. Session 1 exercise. Session 1, day 1 exercise. Okay, it's in the PPT. Let me see this. Is this the exercise that you were talking about? Yes. Okay. The first question, calculate the values. Is this the question? First or second question? Which question you want? First. Okay. Here, nothing much to do with this. You are given the expression, and whatever you need to do, you need to see the brackets. The braces should be according to the BODMAS rule, and that's it. So I will just copy this extension and I will just paste it over here. Let me comment this part. And let me store it in a variable C. And this is what over here. Now, this I will change to the into. This I will change to the into. Now, this is something like to the power. So I will change it to the exponential sign. This is to the power. I will change it to the exponential sign. And this is something multiplication. So I will change it to the multiplication. And rest all things are okay. And I will just print C. So this is how we're going to write this, and you will get the output. So I will just print C and just C to, okay, it's not been saved yet. So let us save it once again. And we'll find the output over here. So did you understood this, Sudha? Yes. Okay. So only the changes that you need to make, that whatever things are there, you need to change it to the operator that are used in Python itself, and then everything is good to go. I believe there is no other doubts today. Thank you, guys. Thank you for being with us.